Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today, we're diving deep into the dazzling and complex world of the Ottoman Empire. For over 600 years, this powerhouse shaped the destinies of sea continents. But beyond the grand tales of sultans and conquests, there are countless secrets and fascinating details that often get overlooked in history class. So, grab your virtual fez, and let's uncover some of the most surprising secrets of the Ottoman Empire you probably never knew. First up, let's talk about the mysterious cage. No more. It's not a zoo exhibit. It was a luxurious, albeit gilded, prison within the Topkapi Palace in Istanbul. Known as the Kafes, this was where potential heirs to the throne, the Sultan's brothers and nephews, were confined. Why? To prevent civil wars. In the early days of the empire, it was common for a new sultan to eliminate his brothers to secure his rule, a brutal practice called fraternal succession. But later, this was replaced by the Kafes. Princes would live in these lavish apartments, isolated from the world, sometimes for decades. They were given every comfort, but they had no more power and no more contact with the outside. Imagine being raised to rule, only to spend your entire adult life in a beautiful prison, waiting for a destiny that might never come. When a sultan died without a direct heir, one of these caged princes would be brought out to rule, often completely unprepared for the immense responsibility. This system, while preventing bloodshed, arguably contributed to the decline of the empire by producing inexperienced and sometimes mentally unstable rulers. Next, have you ever heard of the language of flowers? The Ottomans took this to a whole new level. In a society where direct communication between men and women was often restricted, a secret language of objects, especially flowers, flourished. This system, known as salam, allowed people to send complex messages. A red rose might mean passionate love, but a yellow rose could signify fading affection or jealousy. A sprig of basil might ask for good wishes, while a pear blossom could offer hope. It wasn't just flowers, fruits, herbs, and even colors were part of this intricate code. A woman could convey her entire emotional state to a potential suitor simply by the arrangement of flowers she wore in her hair or sent with a servant. This silent, poetic language added a layer of romance and mystery to everyday life, allowing feelings to be expressed in a world full of social rules. It's a beautiful reminder that human connection always finds a way, even when spoken words fail. Let's move from romance to something a bit more caffeinated. Did you know the Ottomans were so serious about coffee that a woman could legally divorce her husband if he failed to provide her with a daily supply? That's right. Coffee was introduced to the empire in the 16th century and quickly became a cornerstone of social life. Coffee houses, or kafehane, sprang up all over Istanbul. They were known as schools of the wise because men from all walks of life would gather to drink coffee, play chess, listen to storytellers, and discuss politics and business. These places were so influential that the government sometimes saw them as a threat and tried to shut them down. But the love for coffee was too strong. It was more than just a drink. It was a ritual, a social lubricant, and a fundamental part of Ottoman culture. So, next time you enjoy your morning latte, remember the Ottomans who considered it a basic human right. Now for a truly unique aspect of Ottoman life, the charity stones. These were simple, hollowed-out stone pillars, often placed in quiet corners of mosques or marketplaces, known as sadaqata. They were an anonymous system for giving and receiving charity. Wealthy individuals, not wanting to show off their generosity, would secretly place money into the top of the stone under the cover of night. Those in need, wanting to preserve their dignity, could then take what they needed, also in secret. This brilliant system allowed for charity to be given and received without embarrassment or pride. It embodied the Islamic principles of humility and helping the poor, ensuring that aid was accessible to anyone who needed it, without judgment. It's a beautiful example of a society creating a system based on empathy and respect, a concept that still resonates today. Let's talk about military innovation. We all know about the Janissaries, the elite infantry units of the Ottoman army. But did you know they had one of the world's first military bands? These bands, known as Matalan, weren't just for parades. They played a crucial psychological role in battle. With their thundering drums, shrill pipes, and clashing cymbals, the Mehter music was designed to boost the morale of the Ottoman troops while striking fear into the hearts of their enemies. The unique rhythm, often described as a limping beat, was unsettling and relentless. Imagine facing an army preceded by this wall of sound. European armies were so impressed and terrified by this musical force that they later adopted elements of it into their own military music, which is why modern marching bands often feature bass drums, cymbals, and triangles. So, the next time you see a marching band, you can thank the Ottoman Matalan. Here's another secret from within the palace walls. The Sultan's food was never served directly, for fear of assassination by poison, which was a constant threat. Every dish prepared for the Sultan went through a rigorous security process. A special team of officials, called the Enigir, were the raw food tasters. They would sample every single item before it was presented to the Sultan. But it didn't stop there. The kitchens themselves were a fortress, with strict controls over who could enter and what ingredients were used. Furthermore, some sultans even used dishes made of a special type of porcelain that was believed to change color or crack if it came into contact with poison. This level of paranoia highlights the immense danger that came with absolute power. The Sultan's dining table was not just a place for a meal, it was a battlefield of political intrigue. Did you know the Ottoman Empire was a pioneer in public health? Long before many Western nations, the Ottomans established impressive hospitals, known as Dar-Ifa. These were complex institutions that were often part of a larger complex including a mosque, a school, and a public bath. What's amazing is that they treated everyone, regardless of their religion, race, or ability to pay. Treatment was free. These hospitals had specialized wards for different illnesses, including mental health conditions. Music therapy, water sounds, and pleasant aromas were used to treat patients with psychological ailments, a remarkably progressive approach for the time. They understood the connection between the mind and body, providing holistic care that was centuries ahead of its time. These institutions were funded by charitable endowments, or waqfs, ensuring they could serve the public for generations. Let's switch gears to fashion and a symbol you might recognize, the tulip. During the early 18th century, the Ottoman Empire entered a period of peace and prosperity known as the Tulip Era. The tulip, a flower native to the region, became an obsession. It symbolized wealth, power, and the beauty of creation. Sultans and the elite hosted extravagant tulip festivals in their gardens, some lit by candles placed on the backs of tortoises wandering among the flowers. The price for a single rare tulip bulb could be astronomical, higher than the cost of a house. This tulip mania wasn't just about flowers. It represented a shift in Ottoman culture towards art, poetry, and luxury. It was a fleeting, beautiful period that showed a softer, more artistic side of the empire, a far cry from its image as a purely military power. And finally, let's talk about the incredible multiculturalism of the empire. For centuries, the Ottoman Empire was a melting pot of ethnicities and religions. Under the millet system, non-Muslim communities, like Orthodox Christians, Jews, and Armenian Christians, were allowed to govern themselves according to their own laws. They had their own courts, schools, and religious leaders. While they were subjects of the Sultan, they enjoyed a significant degree of autonomy. This system allowed diverse cultures to coexist and thrive within a single empire. Cities like Istanbul, Thessaloniki, and Izmir were incredibly cosmopolitan, with dozens of languages spoken on their streets. While the system wasn't perfect, it was a remarkable experiment in managing a multi-ethnic, multi-religious state, offering lessons in tolerance and governance that are still relevant. From the silent language of flowers to the thundering sound of military bands, the Ottoman Empire was a world of fascinating contradictions, innovations, and secrets. It was so much more than just a timeline of battles and sultans. It was a living, breathing civilization that left an indelible mark on the world. What secret did you find most surprising? Let me know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this journey into the past, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe for more hidden histories. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.